We live in a world that constantly presents us with seductive options, as if they could fill the emptiness we feel. The promises of happiness and fulfillment often prove to be fleeting and unsatisfactory. It's easy to get carried away by these illusions, seeking approval and comfort in temporary things. But amidst this relentless search, a fundamental question arises. What truly brings meaning and value to our lives? The real answer lies in turning towards what is eternal and draws us closer to a greater purpose. When we set out to seek something beyond the distractions of this world, we realize the need to empty ourselves of what does not serve our essence. This process of renunciation is not simple, but it is transformative. We need to let go of the things that pull us away from what is good and pure, allowing true glory to fill our hearts. Liberation begins when we acknowledge that, on our own, we are vulnerable, and that the strength to change comes from a greater love. In this context, we must reflect on our lives. Have we allowed ourselves to be guided by our own desires, forgetting what really matters? When we look inward, we find the fragility of our human nature. Often, we forget that we are prone to error, but it's important to remember that change starts with a sincere request for help. If we open ourselves to this transformation, we can experience a spiritual rebirth that drives us to follow a path of truth and love. Therefore, I invite you to think, how can we free ourselves from what confines us and move towards a path of true light? May we together seek this transformation, recognizing our limitations and trusting that there is constant support to help us improve. It's time to open our hearts and allow the strength that comes from a greater love to guide us toward what truly matters. When we reflect on the need for transformation in our lives, it is essential to remember that we are not alone on this journey. The Bible provides us with valuable guidance on how we can live in a way that reflects a greater purpose. In Romans 12, verse 2, we find a call to renewal. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is that good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. This passage reminds us that change begins within us. In today's society, we are constantly bombarded by messages encouraging us to seek happiness in fleeting pleasures and material goods. This pressure can lead us to a state of conformity, where we set aside our convictions and values. However, the renewal of the mind is an invitation to look inward and evaluate what truly matters. By distancing ourselves from the distractions of the world, we can make room for what is eternal and meaningful. When we commit to not conforming, we realize that our choices impact our spiritual lives. Transformation requires effort and a willingness to change thought patterns and behaviors that distance us from our true purpose. By turning to God, we find the necessary strength to make this change. The renewal of the mind helps us discern what is good and pleasing, allowing the true essence of divine love to guide us. Moreover, this passage confronts us with the fragility of the human condition. We all make mistakes and face difficulties, but the important thing is not to let those mistakes define us. Instead, we should seek the grace that comes from recognizing our limitations. By becoming aware that we are prone to failings, we open ourselves to a sincere request for help. It is in this place of humility that we can find a new beginning and the strength to move forward. Nowadays, many struggle with feelings of inadequacy and the pressure to fit into societal norms. This relentless quest for approval can distance us from what truly brings us peace and joy. By focusing on the renewal of the mind, we find a path that leads to a fuller life, where true satisfaction does not depend on what the world offers, but on what we can find in a sincere relationship with God. Therefore, as we reflect on this passage, we are invited to consider how we can apply this truth in our lives. How can we set aside what conforms us and open ourselves to genuine transformation? It is time to allow the renewal of the mind to guide us to a life that reflects the love and glory we seek. May we commit to pursuing this transformation every day, trusting that as we surrender to this process, we will be led to a life that glorifies what is true and eternal. Lord, I come to you with a sincere heart, recognizing the times I have been distracted by the world's distractions. I confess that many times I have been guided by my own desires and lost sight of what truly matters. Forgive me for placing my wants ahead of your purpose. In moments of discouragement, when daily pressures seem unbearable, help me remember that true peace comes from you. May I empty myself of what is not yours and make space for your presence in my life. I thank you, Lord, for all the blessings you have given me, even when I did not recognize them. Gratitude helps me see what is good and true. May each new day be an opportunity for me to live in a way that glorifies your name. Help me to perceive the beauty in every small thing, even in difficulties, and to find joy in serving others. May I be a channel of your love, reflecting your goodness in the lives of those around me. At this moment, I cry out for your help. Daily struggles often make me feel weak and incapable. In the rush of routine, it is easy to lose sight of the values that truly matter. Therefore, I implore for strength and courage to face the temptations that surround me. Help me resist what does not uplift me and choose what is good. May your wisdom illuminate my steps, as it is written in Romans 12, verse 2, always reminding me of the importance of the renewal of the mind. I offer you, Lord, my life and my longings. May I surrender every aspect of my being to you, trusting that you know what is best. May I not seek the approval of the world, but rather your perfect will. Help me to be a good steward of the time and resources you have given me, using them for good and for the building of your kingdom. May my actions reflect the love I receive from you, and may I be an example to those around me. At this moment, I make a petition for all those who feel lost and hopeless. There are many facing difficult situations, such as loneliness, unemployment, or relationship problems. Lord, reach those hearts. May they feel your comforting presence and understand that they are not alone. May each one find in you the safe haven they long for. Help us to be instruments of love and peace in each other's lives, being support and light in the darkness. May I never forget that true transformation begins within me. May I seek daily the renewal of my mind and heart, remembering that with your help, I can change. May every step I take toward this transformation be guided by your hand. Help me to be patient with myself, recognizing that change is a process. May I choose to seek you and live according to your will each day. When we think of transformation and the search for something greater, a story that illustrates this journey well is that of Zacchaeus, the tax collector, who appears in the Gospel of Luke. He was a wealthy man, but his wealth did not fill the void he felt. Zacchaeus was despised by society, seen as a traitor, as he collected taxes from his own countrymen. However, his curiosity led him to climb a tree to see Jesus pass by. This simple gesture reveals a sincere search for change, a desire for what truly matters. By climbing the tree, Zacchaeus showed that he was willing to expose himself, to set aside his pride and social status. He did not allow himself to be intimidated by the limitations society imposed on him. This act of courage is often overlooked, but it teaches us that transformation begins when we allow ourselves to seek what is true, even if it means stepping out of our comfort zone. Zacchaeus did not wait for circumstances to change. He took action in search of something greater. When Jesus saw him, he called him by name and decided to stay at his house. This action was surprising because, in that culture, a teacher would not associate with someone so poorly regarded. This shows us that no matter how far we have gone, there is always a place for us. The love and acceptance of Jesus were unconditional, just like the help we seek in our own lives. Zacchaeus' transformation began there, in the acceptance of a love that does not judge but embraces. After that encounter, Zacchaeus committed to restoring everything he had taken unjustly. He understood that true transformation is not just internal, but also reflected in concrete actions. He was willing to change not only for himself, but also for the good of others. This change of heart is something we can apply in our lives. When we open ourselves to change, we are led to act in ways that reflect this new purpose. The story of Zacchaeus teaches us that even when we feel lost or in a dead-end situation, transformation is possible. It requires a step of faith and a genuine desire to improve. Sometimes the pressures of the world can make us feel worthless or unworthy of change. However, like Zacchaeus, we are reminded that we can always seek something greater. And in doing so, we find not only acceptance, but also a new purpose. In Luke 19, verse 10, Jesus states that he came to seek and save the lost. This message is an invitation for all of us, regardless of our failures or mistakes. Transformation is a process that begins with a sincere desire for change and a willingness to open our hearts to the love that surrounds us. By acknowledging our fragility and seeking the help we need, we can experience true transformation that leads us to reflect what is good and pleasing. Therefore, As we meditate on the story of Zacchaeus, we are challenged to consider, what areas of our lives need transformation? How can we, like him, open ourselves to change and allow love to guide us toward what truly matters? May we remember that we are not alone in this journey, and that, like Zacchaeus, we can always choose to rise up and seek what is eternal and true. As we reflect on the pursuit of transformation and authenticity in our lives, we are reminded that it is essential to recognize the fragility of our human condition. In a world that constantly tempts us, true satisfaction does not come from pleasing ourselves, but from seeking what is good and pure. Like many of us, we might feel lost amid distractions, but by opening our hearts to the help that comes from something greater, we find the strength needed to improve and let go of what no longer serves us. It is a constant invitation to transformation that begins with a simple request: help me to improve. This plea is a symbol of humility and acknowledgement that we cannot face life's storms alone. By surrendering to this process, we allow something new to blossom within us. Each day is a new opportunity to leave behind what holds us back and embrace what lifts us up. May you be encouraged to take that step of faith, remembering that every small effort counts. By taking actions that reflect this pursuit, we not only change ourselves, but also impact the lives of those around us. Transformation is not just a personal journey. It is also a testament to the love we receive and that we can share. In this moment, I hope you feel the peace that comes from opening your heart to this change. May blessings multiply in your life, and may you find joy in serving and loving the people around you. If you felt touched by this message, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this content, and sharing this reflection with someone who needs to hear it. Now, I want to hear from you. In what areas of your life do you feel you need help to improve? Share your experiences in the comments, as together we can grow in the faith and transformation we seek. May your journey be filled with light, love, and renewal. Amen.